What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast, but it is on a Thursday. Surprise. I'm joined by Cy for the time being. Albert, he's running a little bit late. He'll be with us in a little bit, but myself and Cy, we got a few things we can chit-chat about leading into Full Gear, because that's what today's show is all about, is Full Gear. But now that I've gone on too long, Cy, how the heck have you been? It's been too long since we've done something together, man.
It's been way too long. Yeah, I was so happy when you invited me on the show. I've been really good. Here to make some good predictions and see if I can win something for once.
That's right, because we are competing. It's going to be hopefully he gets here in time, a triple threat for the first ever Positively Awesome. What is it? Positively Awesome AEW Predictions Championship. And then we'll have another one for the Survivor Series show when we do that. But that's for another day. We're doing Full Gear today. But before we get into the predictions, we have a few things we need to hit up, because the main storyline going in to Full Gear is the Devil storyline. And as I said on Sunday's show, this is the kind of storyline I've been waiting for with AEW. I think a lot of people have been. It's one that gets us invested on a week-to-week basis. Makes me want to tune in every week. And there's theories galore. That I don't think anybody really has a clear vision as to who it is. I think we all think we know who it is, but that doesn't mean we know who it is, and I love it. So I'm going to let you go first on your hottest theory on who you think the Devil is.
Wow. I mean, I was talking with my friend Nick from Wrestling With Your Thoughts today, and we were basically kicking ideas around. I mean, you've heard all the theories. You've seen all the theories on Twitter. Some of them are laughable. I mean, Samoa Joe. I mean, have you seen the size of the guy in the devil mask? It's not Samoa Joe.
People went from Britt Baker to Samoa Joe.
Yeah, it's not Britt Baker. I don't even think it's Dolph Ziggler. That makes no sense. I said earlier today, just basically to think outside the box a little bit. Let's make it be Will Ospreay. How about that?
That's interesting, dude, because his contract's up in February. But then again, he's on the show anyway, so it don't even matter.
Yeah,
that's fair. Who would the other four be?
That's the interesting thing. Yeah.
That's where I try to go with my mind when I think of who the Devil is. Like, all right, if it's this person, who could they be rolling with?
So
to try and kind of narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay,
What's up, Cam? Thanks for joining, man.
Maybe we go back to Dolph Ziggler, and he's reforming the Spirit Squad.
Or it's Ali, right? And he's reforming Retribution.
That'd work.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Ospreay,
Ali's not a bad call.
Ospreay isn't a bad one. I look at the form of the Devil, though, and apparently whoever is in the getup is who it is. That's what they're saying. It's not just indie wrestlers coming in on a week-to-week basis, filling in until they know what they're doing. Apparently it is who it is. And the Devil person, the frame is very small. It's very small. So with that, like the Adam Cole theory, yeah, that's the popular one. I get that one. The Britt Baker one was wild, and I'm like, don't do that. One that I didn't think of at first that popped up, and I was like, please don't do that, was Jack Perry. I don't know how you'd feel about that one, but Jack Perry, I was like, man.
I mean, it would kind of make sense. You know, I guess he's just floating a little bit at the minute. But again, to use your own question right back to you, what four guys do you put with him?
Yeah. It could be four new people, I guess. I don't know. I will say the first time we saw the group attacking, they were all fairly small individuals. That second time when they attacked the Claim, some of those dudes looked a little bit bigger. So I don't know if that was true the first time as far as the people in the getup. But my big thing was Kyle O'Reilly. I thought it was Kyle O'Reilly just because he's on his way back. There's ties with Roderick. There's ties with Adam Cole. He needs something to kind of get him to the next level in AEW, because we already know he's fantastic in the ring. But to get to the upper echelon, you got to have us invested. And I don't know how well he could do with the gimmick that comes afterwards. I don't know, but that was my original theory. I did the little piece I wrote where it was Tony Khan. I went crazy with that theory.
Oh, isn't that like it's me, Austin? It was me all along.
But I mean, I came with legit reasons. Like he wants the title off MJF because MJF's on his way out and he doesn't want him taking the world title with him. Punk is one of the people with him because Punk, I can't remember how I put it, but if you look at the reports we've seen, and I thoroughly believe the dirt sheets are in on this stuff with AEW 100%. They help drive these things.
Absolutely.
The thing was, Tony Khan was jumping on the desk and going, CM Punk, cheering him on. The rest of the people would just be so fed up with that shit. But Tony Khan has sat there side by side with him since day one, been like, this is our guy. So to have him be in there with him makes sense. And then who else could it be? FTR, because anytime there's CM Punk, there's FTR right there with him. Then who could the fourth be? And then on this past Dynamite, it kind of went full circle for me. Wardlow. There was a bigger dude this week I saw. So that could be your 4 if it was Tony Khan. Don't think it's Tony Khan, though. I would lose my mind. I think it would be brilliant. I don't think it's Tony Khan, though.
I would love to see Tony book himself as like a heel character, you know, like a heel manager, whatever you want to call it. I know it's like a stereotype and it's been done to death, but I think it'd be refreshing to see it.
Yeah, my biggest reason for wanting him to do it is think of all the people they have in AEW. Obviously, CM Punk, he's not there. But who on that roster gets people talking more than Tony Khan?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
So you put your lightning rod at the forefront or your hottest angle and really get people talk. If I was, I would do it. I would do it, but I don't think that's what they're doing.
I mean, what about Dan Lambert? Right? What about Dan Lambert coming in with like a sheet stable?
Hey, do it. I loved Dan. I absolutely loved him. I thought he was hilarious. I miss him, honestly.
He was great. He got such a rise every time he came out.
They said, just go say what Jim Cornette says, and you'll get heat. And this is exactly what he did, and it was amazing.
What if it was Cornette?
I'd poop myself, man. The craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Man, that'd be crazy. But so we've got all those names out there. What do you think the chances of us seeing the Devil at Full Gear is? Do you think we see the reveal at Full Gear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know you've got the new December pay-per-view, but it's Revolution after that, isn't it? Which is March.
Yeah.
The next big one. And that's too long to drag it out for. It'd turn into like the Aces and Eights angle. Let's, strike while the iron's hot.
I thank you for joining, Chris. He did have insane.
He was a heat magnet.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. It was great going on Twitter after Dan had been on the show and just like seeing everybody melt. It was great.
Deal with it, little haters. Whoop. I'll do that. I don't know who's on Facebook. My StreamYard's dumb. I don't think we see the reveal on the show because again, my brain is telling me that it's most likely Adam Cole. And I think things kind of got a little limbo when he hurt himself. I do think he's hurt. I don't think he's hurt as they say he is. I think he sprained his ankle. He didn't tear it all up. That's what I think. And they're like, we can buy enough time for that sprained ankle to heal. And that's why they've kind of started throwing a bunch of people at MJF to stretch it out a bit. Because Adam's been like, you should listen to Joe and take his help, soften him up a little bit more, so that Adam Cole comes in and then your 4 is the Kingdom and Kyle O'Reilly. So I think Kyle O'Reilly's invested 100%. But again, go ahead.
It's possible that Cole isn't as hurt as we believe. Like you say, we do get fake news drip down sometimes. But yeah, what about Roddy? is Roddy nearly ready to come back?
Roddy's been wrestling. He wrestled on Rampage.
Still got the neck brace on this week, but
well, yeah, he took it off. He wrestled, then he put the. I love. That's why I'm wearing the glasses. I love Roddy.
Is this the same for all three of them? Like, we don't think they're ready to come back, but they're all actually ready to come back.
That would be great. He's so good. And Adam Cole's growing that beard out. That's another. And he's on TV weekly. If he was as injured as they say he was, there's no reason to have him on TV weekly. I just don't think there is. I don't know. That's just me. But
yeah, kind of haven't seen anything like that since when we were getting the Randy Orton injury updates every week.
Yeah,
and that's 20 years. Wow. Yeah,
maybe they are though. I'm not sure. I think they're doing a great job with it though. Again, I fully like praised them this past Sunday about it because it was like, this is exactly what we've been telling them they need to do more of. They've done it, and it's a home run to me. Like, I've loved everything about it. I've loved Roddy's involvement in it. I think it was a great way to bring Wardlow back in and kind of get him going instead of building him up like they always have and then just doing nothing. They're like, no, let's just go ahead and throw him in and he's just ready to go. It's worked. I've loved it. So
intrigue is great.
Yeah.
All they need to not do is make the mistake of like some other companies in the past. I mean, Aces and Eights is a good example sometimes. But I always go back to, was it No Way Out 98 when there was a whole hell of a lot of speculation about who the mystery partner was going to be. People were saying, oh, it might be Big Show, might be Kevin Nash, you know? And then Savio Vega walked out. And it was just a huge disappointment. You know, I nothing against Savio.
But it's a disappointment. Like,
sometimes if you build things up too much, you know? But I don't think they've done that.
And that's another thing I brought up when I was praising the whole thing is I think they've done such a good job that they're in danger of kind of spoiling it, because if they don't deliver with a good a reveal, then that's not good. Like, you have to execute with these top level, either whether it be builds for matches or storylines. You have to have a great reveal. You have to have a great end, or all we're going to remember is the shitstorm. Case in point is Moxley versus Kenny Omega in the Exploding Death match. The match itself wasn't a bad match.
The match was good.
We don't remember anything from it, though. We just remember Eddie Kingston dropping down and some poof, poof sparklers. And then it was like, what an embarrassment.
Yeah. No, you're right.
I don't think you got that. See, I don't think Punk would be the devil. I think he would be a member of the devil, and it would have to be Tony Khan as the devil. That's my scenario. I don't want it to be Punk. But if Punk is coming back anywhere, I want it to be AEW, because that's where he should be. That's my opinion. But yeah, I don't think the devil is Punk. So we've talked about who do you think of who we talked about? Who do you think would be the biggest fumble if it's a reveal as the devil?
I'm gonna go Ziggler, because yes, I would love to see Dolph in AEW. Dream matches with guys like Kenny Omega would be fantastic, but it makes absolutely no sense bringing him in with a guy that he's got no history with.
Exactly. Courtney. Just kidding. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Connie. I'm expecting a twist, you know? I mean, it's going to be a surprise, but it needs to make sense at the same time.
Absolutely.
Even if it gets explained over the week or two after. Yeah.
I think Jungle Boy would be the biggest fumble ever. That's just me. I understand they want to get him to a point where he can, because we've seen a program with Darby and MJF. We've seen a program with Sammy and MJF. We haven't really seen the Jungle Boy MJF. We saw him in the 4-way. We haven't seen the 1-on-1 as champion. So
yeah, this
is a way to make it happen. And the glass spot they did with the Acclaim, that's when everybody's mind started kind of, oh, it's Jungle Boy because it's glass. Cry me. It's like, man, that would not be fun.
No,
I don't think Jungle Boy has in him to carry this kind of storyline. That's me, though. I as much a fan as I am of him in the ring, everything else, he's just not it. That would be the biggest fumble to me. Let's see.
Yeah.
Here's the biggest Dolph Ziggler fan at all. She says, yeah, she don't want it either.
I get what you're saying about Jungle Boy. could be a fumble, but at least it would make sense a little bit.
Yeah, it would make sense, and I would definitely give him the opportunity to prove me wrong. That's my favorite thing for wrestlers to do: prove me wrong, make me look stupid. I love it. I just haven't seen him do anything to make me think he would prove me wrong. So he'd have a very tall mountain to climb.
Yeah.
But with that, oh, you got something else?
I was just gonna come up with one more like out of the box idea.
Let's hear it.
I'm going back to Lucha Underground days, and I don't know if he's still working with MLW. But literally the guy that was in charge of Lucha Underground coming in with like 4 luchas. You know, you could finally put like Penta, Phoenix, Bandido, and I don't know, Vikingo all together, or Commander. You know,
yeah, that
no,
not Commander. Not Commander. I'll take Vikingo, no? Not Commander.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll deal with Penta because Penta looks cool, but Commander I'm not with at all. he stands around too much. But yeah, I'm not against any. Like honestly, the only one I've heard that I'm completely against is the Dolph Ziggler one, which I hadn't heard until you brought it up. So that wouldn't make sense. But Jungle Boy, those are the only 2 I've heard that I'm like, don't do that. Everything else I've heard has been like, yeah, show me. I wouldn't be mad at him. I guess it's the execution afterwards at that point. But we will now move on to the predictions. We will start with the pre-show one to give Albert just a little bit more time to jump on up in here. We won't count this one towards the battle. How about that? Unless he gets in time to give his thing. But this is the only match so. Oh no, we got one more thing we're gonna do. Any matches that you think get added to the show before Saturday? Because we said it's a great number, but they don't like to sit at that number. They like to just throw some shit on. So
no, I think the average tends to be what, 12, 13 matches. So I think they've got maybe
12
3
to 14. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few glaring omissions on this show. It's like, you know, we haven't really got Claudio. We haven't got Jimmy Uta. Now he technically beat Hook, didn't he, this week? So I mean, that could set up a little match.
They've been feuding too. So yeah, I didn't even think about that one. Pre-show match.
We've had a lot of action between Takeshita and Ibushi this week in the big main event. That'd be a great singles match. I don't think we've seen.
No, and Takeshi said it was a dream match. He would love to do it. So
yeah,
I could see that one being added as well.
Who else isn't on this show?
I think Andrade Miro has a very good possibility of being added just because they've been doing a thing on Collision. I'm not sure all of it, but I do know they've been doing something based on what I've read. Garcia, it seems weird to keep him off a pay-per-view when you recently started to kind of build him up. But at the same time, I don't know what else he has going on. I know he's wrestling Miro on Collision, I believe.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe you do a 3-way between him and Andrade because he wrestled Andrade last week. So I don't know. I think it would be weird to keep Garcia off when you're trying to get him going again. And Miro, I don't know why you'd leave Miro off. That'd be weird.
That makes sense. I'm just looking down the card here, and there's no Acclaimed, is there?
Nope. They got attacked, so they're probably selling that injury because they got jumped last week. So, and then it's crazy because when they introduced these trio titles, there was a lot of trio teams, and it was like, this is a good idea. And then they got the titles, and now all of a sudden it's like, what trios teams do we really have left? We have the Acclaimed, we have Dark Order, and we have House of Black. But I haven't seen Buddy Murphy in forever, or Buddy Matthews. I'm sorry, haven't seen him in a minute, so I don't even know if that's a trio anymore. It's like those belts fell off quick, and it's a shame because the Acclaimed is awesome. Yeah. Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
I think that was always going to happen with the tag belts and the trios belts. You know, I don't think you can keep them both like really prestigious.
Yeah. I mean, if you did one on one show and the one on the other, I think they could make it happen, but they don't, so it won't.
That's a good
idea. Yeah. Honestly, all those matches we just mentioned could probably end up on the show.
Maybe they won't add too many more though, with Collision being on like right before, is it?
No, Collision's on during SmackDown. It's going head to head against SmackDown. Yeah.
I didn't know it was a day early.
Yeah.
Right.
They're doing it a day early.
Okay. Right.
So Rampage will be live again. I always like it when Rampage is live, but yeah, I don't know. I think Hook and Yuta would be a good pre-show match they could add.
That'd work.
And just throw Athena on the pre-show as well. Just do it. I don't get why you wouldn't do that.
It's one thing looking at this card. There's not a lot of Ring of Honor guys at all.
Nope. But that's a good thing because that's kind of what we've been saying. Like,
keep it separate.
Establish Ring of Honor before you start sprinkling that shit in all over the place.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 6 hours. Oh no, 5 hours, honestly. If you include the SmackDown with it, it's gonna be a long ass weekend of wrestling. But now we can jump into the first match on the predictions that we are doing.
Okay.
And it is the Ring of Honor tag title match that will definitely be the main event of the 0 hour show, in which MJF, who doesn't have a tag partner because Adam Cole is setting his ass up, and he's taking on the Gun Club. Samoa Joe may or may not help MJF. We can talk about that during the match that we're doing here now. But real quick, who do you got and why?
I think this is going to go one of two ways. Yes, it could be Samoa Joe, or it could be somebody else that Samoa Joe takes out and leaves MJF on his own. I don't really see a third option. Nothing else makes sense. Let's put Joe in there. He's not on the card, is he? Let's build that story, and let's establish that he's not the devil, because we all know he's a little bit larger than the
He's bigger than all the dudes, all the henchmen too. So it just doesn't work.
Yeah, he could be all 5, right?
So I think this scenario is what I think we're going to be looking at. I think MJF on Collision is probably going to accept Samoa Joe's invitation, but Samoa Joe is going to get attacked by the devil and his crew, making him unable to help MJF in that match. And the numbers game is going to happen, and I think MJF loses the Ring of Honor tag titles to the Gun Club. I think that's what's happening. Maybe Samoa Joe doesn't help them all. I don't know. But I just have a feeling they're going to want to really sell the fact that MJF is in over his head at this point, and having him lose to the Gun Club would be kind of a big deal. And we need to get on a real tag team anyway.
Yeah, and it makes him like a big underdog going into the main event as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, are we making predictions on this one right now?
Yeah, we'll do a prediction on this one.
Yeah.
Just like I said.
Well, I mean, I'm going to pick the Guns. It doesn't really make any sense keeping the titles on MJF unless Cole is literally back this weekend. Let's let the Guns have a run with it. The story's been good.
They didn't get a good enough run with the AEW tag titles. It was ended way too soon, and
I think it happened too soon for them. I think the character work's come a long way since then.
Yeah, I think they're much better with the with Bullet Club Gold, but the fact that they had them beat FTR and then they just didn't do anything with the run, it was kind of like that's why it appeared that they did it too early. But then when they got put in Bullet Club Gold, they literally have been on fire. So it's like I think they had it in them. They just weren't ever given the opportunity, which happens a lot with tag teams when they get the tag titles in AEW. So, I think you need to put it on them. They're young. They can go do Ring of Honor. We need to get the Ring of Honor champions on Ring of Honor again, because apparently, according to Nick, he was telling me that just isn't the case.
No. Don't get me started on that. I could take 5 minutes. Don't get me started on that.
Let's get it back to that. Gun Club tag titles.
Yeah, it's been a good little story since I think it started at All In, having MJF do double duty. But it's run its course, Yeah. Let's switch those belts.
It was almost sad to watch the Righteous get built up so nicely, only to have one of them's head shoved up the other one and then lost MJ. I was like, what did we do that for?
Yeah.
What did we do that for?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Collision's on tomorrow during SmackDown, head to head. So that's going to be a fun day afterwards for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the main show. When Albert jumps in, I'm just going to get his predictions. He just doesn't get to chat about it. That's what you get, Albert, for being late. The one time Albert is late, the one time, this is what happens. Yeah, Vincent and Dutch. That was embarrassing for them. I felt bad for them. But the first match, I'm gonna do it in the order that I think this show is happening because that's how I always do it. I'm never right, but oh well. I think we're gonna start off with the international title match between Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley because they love to put Orange Cassidy on first. So, with that, Sai, who you got in this match? Are you excited for this match?
You know what? I'm not the huge fan of either man, but I'm looking forward to the match. I think it's one of those where the old formula comes in, you know? You've been watching wrestling a long time, and there's certain times when somebody loses a title because something goes wrong in a match or there's an injury. What do? You just run it again. You run it round. And I think that's happening. Makes it a little bit predictable. But the way they've done it and built Mox back up, it's been entertaining. And yeah, I don't see Orange walking away with this belt.
Okay, so did you watch Dynamite this week?
Yes, I watched it today, actually. Yeah.
Okay. So I was I was firmly of the thought that Mox was winning on Saturday, and I was ready to throw a fit. I was ready to throw a temper tantrum 100% because I am a huge Orange Cassidy fan at this point. But what I saw happening with Orange Cassidy selling first the Orange Punch, it didn't affect Mox, and he just kind of was like, "What gives?" And then afterwards, Moxley cut that scathing promo on him, and Orange just sat there kind of like just almost defeated before the match even happened.
Yeah.
And we've also been at the same time been seeing Orange Cassidy kind of transition into a more serious and aggressive wrestler since winning the title back. I think I would be shocked more at this point after Dynamite if Orange Cassidy doesn't win. I really think that because I thought he should have beat Moxley at All Out. I was like, All Out. I was like, why? Why are we doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Then the injury happened. We put it back on Orange. Yeah, let's do that. And the way they've told the story with Orange Cassidy, I'm like, okay, I'm buying into it because I think he should beat Jon Moxley, and now I think he can. So that's good. We're already going different ways here. You got Moxley, I go to Orange Cassidy retaining. I'm for it because it's the only way Orange Cassidy gets to stay relevant, and he should because he's awesome to me at least. So,
and if it is the opening match, I hope you're right because I think the opening match should always be won by the face. That's just like, old school.
Yeah, get the crowd happy.
Yeah.
Well, I think either way, I think whoever wins, they'd be happy either way because they love Mox too. But I think a good way to start the show is to just shock them. Like, hey, I don't think you're ready. You guys are not ready for what we're doing tonight. And this right here is a good way to start it. I can't even fully agree, Dale. I like Moxley to an extent. I don't think he's the best in-ring wrestler, but I think he's a great brawler. I think he's entertaining for the most part too. As long as he's not cutting himself all the time, we're good. But hey, thanks for joining, Dale. I ain't seen you in a good minute either, man. I'm gonna have to get you on sometime. Next match on the card that I got, which I will think will be the second one because I think it will be the most boring and match I am least invested in. Yes, you guessed it. Omega and Jericho versus the Young Bucks.
Wow.
I think they were the second and third match at All In too, so I'm not even crazy at this point. That's where they were there. I think that's where they'll be at here. Are you interested in this little, I don't even want to call it a feud because it's so quick and everything, but this little shindig they got going on, and who do you think comes out of here as the number one contenders for the tag titles?
Okay. It's kind of hard for me to keep it positive when we're talking about the Young Bucks, but I'm going to try my best.
I've been getting good at it, man. I think you can do it. I think.
I do kind of get, the point a few people have made in that we've kind of seen this before, only Kenny had a different partner. So yeah, it's a bit of a rerun, but they've spiced it up a little bit. They've kept it interesting. I'm actually looking forward to this one more than the tag title match. I think Kenny and Chris are gelling quite well. I don't see the Young Bucks winning. It's
really,
I really don't. I might be going against the grain. I know most people are expecting the Bucks to win this and shenanigans to happen, but yeah, I think they've put them together for a reason. I think it's working pretty well. Let's keep these two guys together, send them after the tag belts, and see where it goes.
And what are they called? The
Golden Jets.
The Golden Jets. What a silly ass name.
Fantastic name.
Yeah, I haven't bought. Excuse me. I haven't bought into the feud at all. I feel almost like Omega seems a bit disinterested. That's what I've got from his body language during this. That's not to say he is, because I'm just a fan that's watching, and I tend to tune out a little bit because it is the Young Bucks. But I will say, when the Young Bucks are heels, they are much more entertaining.
Yes.
They are much more entertaining as heels. I think they work well with Kenny, so I think the match will deliver to an extent. It'll be much like the other stuff they do that I'm not really a big fan of, but it won't be bad. I'm curious to see how Jericho keeps up with them, or if he even tries. He probably will, because he's been trying to do that with everybody. I'm going the completely opposite way. Again, I think the Young Bucks win here to keep their number one contendership. And when we talk later on, you'll know why. But have they been heels in AEW yet? Like legit heels. I know they tried to be heels when they were, but I don't think they've ever really been booed in AEW. Whereas on Dynamite, they were starting to get booed a little bit. So I'm interested to see what they do with it. I think it would be crazy to turn them heel and then have them lose. I think if they hadn't turned them heel, them losing would make sense. But if they just turned heel, it doesn't make sense. Maybe cheating on Kenny Omega really drives it home that they're not the same guys. Something along those lines. So yeah, I'm taking the Bucks here. Hate doing it. Trust me, I do 100%. But storyline wise, with what I see kind of happening, I have to go with the Young Bucks here. So, we got two. This never happens when we do predictions, so this is great. This is fantastic. I got
usually it's agree down the line,
and then I have to start saying dumb stuff. So that we're not all holding hands singing Kumbaya like an AEW locker room. As much as I love the Young Bucks, I want them to win. Courtney, you've been saying a lot of things this week that make me say, get the heck out of here. I don't want to hear it. No. Do you see the Bucks turning on Kenny and having an alliance? I don't see them having an alliance with Jericho, but I do see them fully turning on Kenny. Jericho just turned face. So then again, that sounds like something Chris would do. So I don't know. That's actually a possibility. I didn't even think about it. Bucks haven't really done a full episode of BTE in a bit as well. Very strange dynamic. Good, because they do things that go with the shows and stuff on BT, and I don't watch it, so I don't want them to do the BT anymore if it's going to be canon with the shows. Knock that crap off. So next up, let me cross these out so I'm not repeating myself. Got that. Next up on the card, I got to do a women's match. Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm. In my opinion, I think this is probably one of the better. I think it's one of the better built matches for the card. There's been investment in it on a week-to-week basis. I've kind of soured a little bit on the Toni Storm character because I haven't really seen the translation from character to in-ring. I feel like it's kind of gotten away from that a little bit. But bringing in, I forgot her name. I look like an idiot right now. Who's that girl that just brought in? Mariah May.
Yes.
Okay.
From Stardom.
Yes. Yeah. Bringing her into this, I think, kind of gets me back into it a little bit. Oh, look, there's Albert. What up, Albert? Guys. Thank you for joining, man. I'll get your other picks.
Tardy. Sorry.
It's all good. I'll get you other picks after we're doing this one. But Albert, Cy Albert, now that y'all have met, the show.
Hey, how we doing?
Pleasure.
Yeah, I think Mariah May being involved in the storyline kind of brings me back into it a little bit. and I think it makes me a little bit more invested to see what Toni Storm's going to do with the character.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Again, I see everyone praising the Toni Storm thing, and I soured on it. I don't know how you feel about it, but feel free. What do you think about this match?
I think Toni Storm's doing legitimately the best character work in like wrestling right now. I think she's fantastic.
Adam!
I know that you've soured on it a little bit. We seem to have different opinions on a lot of things on AEW television. Hi, Courtney. Posey, what's going on, man? Wow, all you guys are so nice to me. Dale, it's nice to meet you too. Oh man, catching up with all these comments in here. But I think that Toni Storm's character work is so good that I don't think she needs a title, and I think Hikaru Shida wins this match because I just don't think Toni Storm needs it.
Ooh, okay. He says Shida. He says Shida.
The other thing is this: Shida had a microwave title run before. Now they've tried. I think that they're trying to reposition her back into being the like a mainstay, a face of the women's division. And I think that as of right now, this women's division needs structure, and they need somebody at the top who's going to actually look like they actually can compete and they're dominant, and but having good matches with these other women to put them over, kind of like what Roman Reigns is doing in WWE right now. You have a match with him, it's seemingly you're now getting up to that next level. I think that's where they're going to try to position Shida to do that. I think Toni Storm is the hottest act in the women's division right now, so it's only fitting that you put her in the spot, but I just don't see her winning this one.
Okay. I do think it's funny the way the women's title has gone. It went from Shida to Saraya, or no, Shida to Toni to Saraya, and then from Saraya to Shida back. No, Toni. I've already messed this up. Toni, Shida, Saraya, Shida, possibly back to Toni. It was like they just like, whoop, whoop. But what about you? What about you, Sai? What do you think's happening here?
So I'm going to go a little bit different. I agree with you, Albert, on the fact that I think the timeless Toni Storm character is one of the most refreshing things we've seen this year in wrestling. I've been a fan of Toni Storm since Progress, and I never knew she had this character in her. I don't know what's brought it about, who's brought it about, but it works. It really works. But I think there are times when you need the champion to raise up the championship, but there's other times when you need the championship to make the champion.
Yeah.
And at the minute, I think it's the belt itself that needs getting a little bit of prestige back. Yes, Shida's been a transitional champion before, but I think she's going to be again. That belt is going back to Toni to create that.
That triangle right there.
Yeah.
So I think with Mariah coming in, it kind of favors Toni a little bit because she obviously is there. Like, she is fascinated and she's like a fan of Toni, timeless Toni. So to have her come in and to help timeless Toni win the match and win the title kind of gives Toni that reason to keep Mariah around. And then they go in with that. And that, I think that storyline with the title is going to allow Mariah to kind of jump over a lot of the other women's talent to get to that upper echelon of the women main eventers. I think that's the goal here. I think it's actually pretty smart. I give him credit for that. I do want to put this up here because the biggest thing this company needs is for it to be Halloween all year round. So the Abaddon is on TV every day. And yes, sir.
Just canceled Abaddon's figure. What's going on with AEW?
Thank you. This is what I've been saying for a good hot minute. Why is she not on TV?
She has a very large fan base. They just consistently reject putting her on television. And like I said, now they just canceled her figure. I don't understand what they're doing there. Every time she's on TV, everybody seems to rejoice. So that's just AEW dropping the ball.
Albert, I'll ask you real quick. Who do you got between Orange Cassidy and Mox?
I'm going to go Orange Cassidy.
Nice. And then who do you got between the Golden Jets and the Young Bucks?
I think, as much as I don't want to say this, I think this is the opportunity where the Bucks get a big win on pay-per-view because I think they need it.
And then Gun Club or MJF and possibly Samoa Joe, possibly just nobody.
MJF and whoever, nobody, maybe Joe, maybe not, whatever. MJF retains.
Okay, so we both picked Gun Club on that one. I picked Young Bucks as well. He picked Golden Jets. I picked Orange Cassidy as well. He picked Mox. So This is very different. I like it. That's what we need to be doing.
There we
This
go.
is Albert's favorite wrestler is Abaddon. I've never heard him talk about it, but I wouldn't even be mad at it because Abaddon's awesome.
Well, if you, that's 100% the truth. We're in a group chat for years, and the Abaddon pictures used to be the ones that they would send me to jump scare me, and they work.
All right,
Just to touch on that, I love the fact that Abaddon literally does all the fan signings in full character. You know,
that's
awesome. He's brilliant.
That's the way it should be.
That's why I never want to meet her. She'd scare the crap out of me.
So now we will move on into the tag title 4-way between Ricky Starks and Big Bill, taking on FTR, House of Black, and Rush and Dralistico. This is the one me and Cy were talking about where this is kind of one we're the most clueless about, just because we haven't really been watching Collision, so it's been hard to keep up with it, but we're still going to predict it for sure because it's part of the show. So with that said, we're going to get your muscles working here, Albert. I'm going to go to you first again. Who do you got for this match and why?
Yeah, look, there was a report that came out that FTR dropped the belts to Starks and Big Bill just to kind of get them over and, to come back and come around and get the belts back. If that's going to be the case, this is the wrong way to do it, because if you're going to get the clean win back, you do it in a
one-on-one.
A one-on-one, yeah, a normal tag match, not a fatal 4-way, which is why I kind of believe that this is going to be that moment where they can give Ricky Starks the opportunity to defend a championship successfully on pay-per-view and just be like, hey, you know what? We got, we gave you one there, look, Ricky Starks isn't buried. He's defending, championship successfully on pay-per-view, just to distract you from the fact that he's start and stop pushed more than almost anybody in this company. As
him and Wardlow right there, neck and neck.
Yep. That's 1 and 2 right there. So I'm going to go with Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I think that they pull the upset because I think that there's a subsection of fans that want to see every other team in this match win, and I think AEW is going to piss every one of them off.
That'd be good with Ricky because Ricky can lean into that 100%.
Cy,
what about you? Who you got in this match?
I totally agree with Albert on the fact that I think the FTR should maybe have got the belts back, but it's wrong to do it in a 4-way. That makes perfect sense. I'm going to agree, and I think Ricky and Bill are keeping these belts. I was kind of thinking ahead if I'm right on the Young Bucks match, and, if I'm not wrong on that one, then Golden Jets would match up pretty well with Ricky and Bill at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'd really like to see a title change, but I don't think we're going to get it. Ricky, he's due his pay-per-view moment, isn't he?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Unfortunately, I don't see it happening. We heard me pick the Young Bucks earlier, and now you're going to find out why. And the first time that we saw Bucks FTR, it was FTR as the heels, Bucks as the baby faces. The second time we saw them, they were both baby faces. The third time would have to, in my eyes, you would want to do it with FTR as baby faces and the Young Bucks as heels. That way you get the full on, the two best tag teams of the past whatever years. You want to get the full grasp of everything there. And I think this is the best way to end the trilogy. So I think FTR wins here. I think it was, I don't know why they did. If this is the plan, if they're to keep them on Ricky and Big Bill, awesome. I'm glad to be wrong here. But I don't know what the idea would be if they are putting on Young Bucks to get back to this match. Ricky and Bill, she's taking Ricky and Bill too. Everybody taking Ricky and Bill. I'm the lone man here, and I'm fucking doing it for Young Bucks of all people, bro.
Right?
This is 2 times in a week I've done something nice for the Young Bucks, and that's never going to happen again. I promise you, people.
2 times too many.
And I picked, it's man, unbelievable.
They penalized Ricky for showing up to a pay-per-view with this manager realizing he would belt because he is a star. But yeah, he should have the real AEW World Championship that he should have won from CM Punk. That's what he should be holding on right now. That's what I say. But with that, there we go. I got FTR there, and no clean sweeps yet. Good deal. That's what I like it to be. Moving on. Man, there's a lot of title matches on this. It's big pay-per-view feel here.
That's because they have a lot of titles.
To be fair, on the main show, none of them are Ring of Honor ones. So I'm not against it. I'm not against
the Ring of Honor tag titles, right?
That's on the 0 hour. So
that's 0 hour. Okay. Okay, fair enough.
And 2 women's matches. It's a
Yeah.
celebration. I'm partying that night. TBS title match in a triple threat between Chris Statlander, your champion, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. Before I swing it over to you, I am going to talk about this one because this is one of the ones I'm most excited about. Chris Statlander needs a pay-per-view match because she's been severely underutilized with that TBS title. Julia Hart has been probably the second most improved wrestler of 2023. So I'm all for her getting this moment. And I like Sky Blue. I think Sky Blue has that it factor to be a big star for AEW if they continue to get her where she needs to be. I 100% believe Chris Statlander is losing the title here, though. I think Julia Hart and Sky Blue are going to do a double team on her, and Julia Hart is walking out of this match with the TBS title. That's what I think is happening here.
Interesting.
Because I don't think Sky Blue has touched Julia Hart in any of the times she's come out to confront her to save someone. She's always gotten in her face. I think she spit in her face at one time, but Julia Hart spits in people's face. That's just what they do when they say that, I love you. I don't know. So they've never physically touched each other. They've just spit in each other's face. So I do believe Julia and Sky Blue kind of go together here.
Shenanigans.
Yes, 100%. So, Sai, I'll swing it over to you now. How do you see this match going?
I also see something similar with the two of them working together. I think Sky Blue will also really flourish as a heel. But whether it's, I don't really want to DQ, whether they kind of team up on Chris after the match. I
triple
think
threat. There's no DQ.
It's no DQ. Triple threat, of course.
Yeah, triple threat.
Yeah,
so there's no DQ.
But yeah, I mean, you could have a story with the two of them working together coming out of the match, but Statlander needs to keep the belt here, and she needs a big pay-per-view win.
Statlander better win. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if she won.
Just to add, Julia has improved a hell of a lot this year, but I don't think she's quite ready for the strap yet.
I agree.
Okay, to counterpoint that real quick, if you were going to put a title on her, though, don't you think the TBS title would be fine since they don't seem to do much with it anyway? Kind of my scenario with why you put the United States title on Logan Paul, because that's been the least prestigious of all of them. So what are you going to lose by putting it on Logan Paul? Nothing. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So that's kind of another reason I'm expecting a title change. I'm expecting a lot of title changes this Saturday night. It's going to be a big night. That's what I thought.
Interesting. I completely think the opposite. I think Statlander wins. I think that she deserves you said she deserves a title match. I think she deserves a title retention on pay-per-view. I think that everybody needs to see how good Chris Statlander is. Remember, Chris Statlander just isn't another woman. She's the woman who ended Jade Cargill's streak. This isn't just somebody else. And I don't think that they transition the championship onto a wrestler that they're building with another story as of right now. I think this is where Statlander kind of cements her place as a really big part of this division. And I actually think that this could lead to the first time we ever see the AEW Women's World Champion face the AEW TBS champion or TNT, whatever it is. But
AEW Women's Champion and TBS Champion.
TBS, yeah. So I was right. Okay. I think that's what we see. I think that they build Statlander up to that point where she goes after Sheeta. And I think that ultimately Statlander is the one who takes the championship off of Sheeta. That's where my mind is going. The other thing is this. Sky Blue and Willow are two of the most over babyface women in the history of, in all of AEW. And AEW turned them both heel. Why? I will never understand. It doesn't make sense to me. Whenever there's a super over babyface and they just decide out of nowhere like Bayley was a super over babyface, but we can tell. She was getting booed after a while. They were over the character. We were not over Sky Blue or Willow. There were so many different places that they can go as baby faces. I like the idea that if the AEW was going to do a women's tag team division, that you have Sky Blue and Julia Hart as a tag team.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the purpose of turning Sky Blue heel right now. It doesn't make sense to me. That's why I think that there's something that they're doing. So I don't think they put a championship on either of them.
Okay. And Sai, you picked Statlander as well?
I did, and I'm not going to listen to you guys and then change my mind. I'm sticking with the choice. but I've got to throw in here that if this was a way to get the belt to Julia, because Chris is up against the odds and it becomes 2-1.
Yeah,
She could lose
yeah.
the belt without really eating the loss. And then maybe she could go after Toni Storm, if I'm right.
Yeah. And I want to see matches like that for the AEW Women's title because we haven't seen it. I think Toni Storm is head and shoulders above everyone else as far as in-ring with the women's division. I think she's the best women's wrestler they have in AEW. I want to see her in there against the best, like the other best. No disrespect to Britt Baker. I love Britt Baker. She's not up there with them.
No.
Saraya, sorry, she's just not. Like, so I don't want to see that. Chris Statlander, though, yeah, I want to see her versus Toni Storm.
I don't think we've had it, have we?
No,
Statlander Storm is probably the biggest match they've got in the women's division that they haven't had.
And then Jamie Hayter should be on her way back soon. I want to see Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander. I want to see those matches happen more often.
And you see Hayter's on her way back. We have a giant signing that we're going to be made at this event as well. And the big money is that it's Mercedes Moné. So there's also got to be an opening.
We'll touch on that at the very end. That's going to be our bonus question. But
if that's the case, I guess Toni Storm would be the right person, right? You would want Mercedes to come in as a babyface. You would want Toni as a heel champion as of right now. Kind of would make sense. Is she a heel? Is she a face? I don't even know anymore. It's just the character work is so good. People are just cheering her, or if she's supposed to be a heel. But I mean, they gave her a butler, so I'm assuming that means she's a heel, right?
And now she has a sidekick. So yeah, that's definitely
exactly. She had a butler and a sidekick. She has to be a heel.
Dale, I definitely think TBS has say to an extent. The network execs wanted the world title on Punk, and they put the world title on Punk. So they do have a say to an extent. So that's another reason for me to look at it. And you brought up Statlander beat Jade Cargill. So if you're going to have Statlander lose, the person who beat Jade Cargill is going to lose. If it's against 2-on-1 scenario, it's not as bad to me. So
that's fair.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. But now we will move on to the second best built match on this show. And again, I can't believe I'm praising anything with this little jackass in it. Pardon my language. Texas Death Match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Albert, I'll let you go first since you seem to be a big Hangman Adam Page fan now, you little traitor. What do you think about this match? Who do you got winning?
I've always been a big Hangman fan. I think that Hangman cut one of the best promos of his damn career, this past week. I think that this gimmick, this feud has been heating up. I love that Swerve went to his, Hangman's house and talked to his kid. I love that, Hangman's not afraid to throw Nana under the bus. I love everything about what they're doing right now. But if this is not a vehicle to get Swerve Strickland as a main event player in AEW, then what are we doing here? It's Swerve, and I love Hangman. Hangman is like my second favorite wrestler in AEW. I love Hangman. But Swerve is on a different level than almost everybody else in AEW right now, not named MJF.
So you're picking Swerve.
I'm going with Swerve.
So you're with me. If he doesn't win, we riot for sure.
I'm not going to riot. I'm okay.
We're going to riot. I don't think I even need to say who y'all know. I'm picking Swerve here. Adam Page doesn't deserve to win anything ever again for what he's done in the past. Little son of a B word. He don't deserve to win. And like you said, it's not even me just being a hater. On top of it, if we're not using this to get Swerve to the next level, what the heck are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're just boosting each other's egos, and that's just nonsense at this point. So Swerve on my side too. I'm glad you picked the right one, Albert. I don't want to have to kick you off the show. What about you?
Reaction to that?
You're both going to hate me. I agree with you in principle, right? So Swerve is the guy to eventually send after MJF. They've got a history way back in MLW together. They work well together. There's a good story there. But, right, the money is in the trilogies, right? You think back of like great trilogy of matches, way back to like DDP against Randy Savage, one of the best trilogies of the year that year. And I think that's where we're going. Now, being as Swerve won the first match, it's got to be Hangman's win. Then we go to the third. That's when Swerve gets elevated.
I can definitely see that. I definitely can. I just
something real quick. Go ahead, Albert.
My whole thing is just that I don't know if the idea is to give Swerve the 2 straight wins over Hangman to really solidify him, I think that would make a lot more sense. I do see where you're going. And in a way, storyline-wise, Hangman should win this, right? I mean, Swerve messed with his family. Hangman should win. But sometimes I think that, the swerve is in the swerve, right? So, I think everybody thinks that could be the case, and I would love to see Swerve pull the victory out there. I don't disagree. I also think that if this was the MJF as of old, and he wasn't this, he wasn't our scumbag, I would have picked Hangman right here because I think that you want to keep him strong as a babyface. But
they stretch him out a lot, Dale. And I'm going to bring up one actually right now because we talk about how Swerve won the first one. So logically speaking, Hangman should win the next one. And then they do the rubber match in 3. Here's one I'm going to bring up. Chris Jericho versus MJF. MJF won the first match. MJF then won the second match. And then Chris Jericho won the third one. So they've shown in the past that they don't do it traditionally, which I guess is something to be praised a little bit. I like the unpredictability. I don't like that one in particular because Chris Jericho should have never beat MJF, and he damn sure shouldn't have made him tap out. That was silly. But it was just used as an example there that they don't do it the traditional way all the time. So I'm crossing my fingers that I'm not talking crazy and that I'm talking right here because I don't know if oh man, as happy as I'd be over some Orange Cassidy beating Mox, I'll lose my shit if Hangman Page beats Swerve Strickland on Saturday night. Ooh, especially because Swerve is like a crazy hardcore death match wrestler. Hangman Page don't want none of that. Like, I know this for a fact. I've seen Swerve do some things. So
Hangman too, though. Hangman faced Joey Janela at All In. It's not like Hangman doesn't have
Joey Janela.
I mean, there's Joey Janela, and then there's like the Art of War match. Is that what you're talking about, Jim? That's I mean,
yeah.
So
I'm just saying, he's not used to these kind of matches. Swerve does have the advantage. I'll give you that. But
I think it would make Swerve look like the top heel overall, bar none, if he was to go in there and then absolutely destroy Hangman in the match that Hangman requested. I think that's the best way to put Swerve over as the next guy. So
on the map.
I actually hope you're right. But yeah.
I hope I'm right too. This is all hope. I picked the Young Bucks. I can't pick Page too. I can't do it on the same show. It's not going to happen. You'll get one. You won't get both. Now for the co-main events, I wouldn't think it would be any other match other than this one. You got the 6-man between Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus. I do believe this is going to be our first sweep, though. I'll just get it out of the way now. There's no way in hell I see Sting, Darby, and Adam Copeland losing this match. I just don't. Sting's gone this long without losing. It ain't happening now. So, Sai, you got your thing. Let's hear it. I would love to hear your little theory.
I'm not going to completely disagree with you. I think it makes perfect sense for the face team to win. However, how many times through the years have we seen Rick screw Sting over? How many times?
You think Rick's going to be at the show?
Do you think? Yeah, I think Rick's going to be there.
So.
And well, he's on the wiki page. It says with Ric Flair.
It does.
It does. Now, I mean, if it is, they're not going to keep him, and Rick is, no pun intended, going to be straight in and out, then I think maybe getting him to, turn on Sting one last time. I love Rick. I love Sting. I don't want to see them together right through till March. Come on. Yeah, I mean, that's the possibility, but the likelihood of it happening, I don't know. The faces do need the win. Absolutely.
Do they?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't bring a guy like Adam Copeland into your company and have him lose pretty much off the bat. Makes no sense.
Adam does have a history of just being like, yeah, I'll lose. He doesn't mind losing.
Here's my thought. I think everybody in the world thinks there is no chance in hell Sting is going to lose his first match in AEW in a random 6-man on a pay-per-view where Edge is coming back. There's a 19-year-old kid across the ring from him. Like Christian's, Christian's teaming with a dinosaur, like all these things. It's just, I think Christian, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus win this match. I think that Edge is going to try to, is going to go after Christian. I think Christian's going to play up this whole, like, we're best friends. No, I didn't mean it. The whole go after yourself thing was just BS. I love you, blah, 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 blah. Some sort of interference, maybe a Ric Flair heel turn, to get, one over on Sting to, on the outside. And I think that we finally see Sting's first loss in AEW. I don't think he eats the pin. I think Darby eats the pin.
No, there's no.
I think Darby eats the pin. And I think that could be one of the catalysts to why Sting or Darby, wants to face Sting later on. I let you down. I lost your first match. If you're going to have to go out to face anybody and to beat anybody, it should be me. I deserve it.
He's going to jump off Luchasaurus's head. Okay, quick question just to spice this up a little, because you're taking Christian. You're taking Team Christian.
I absolutely am.
That's kind of wild to me.
Wow.
But I like it.
Wow. Yeah.
I think this is going to be that show where everybody's expecting something major to happen. And I think this is the most realistic major thing to happen that doesn't have long-term implications to it. Sting can lose the match. Everybody will go, oh no, Sting lost. I can't believe he lost his first match. And by next week, everybody will be over it. Okay, somebody loses the championship. It's a lot of more implication.
Just to play off Albert's crazy idea here, do we think there's any possibility that Edge actually turns heel here and joins Christian?
I would love that. Especially because Edge said
you get Edge and Christian versus Sting and Darby in the Sting's final match.
I mean, that's awesome to me.
Because we've never got Sting and Edge or Adam Copeland. I'm sorry, everybody. And that's got to be something that Adam Copeland is like itching to do. He wants to wrestle Sting if he has the opportunity to. So, just spitballing an idea there. I don't think Sting loses though. I think to go this far and then like literally months before his final match, like he's finally gonna lose. Oh my goodness. That I'm not calling you a bonehead, Albert. I am saying it's a bonehead decision for Tony Khan to do that. But it would also blow my mind. It would blow my mind.
Your things before, right?
If this company was smart, they would prolong an angle with Sting until retirement. Think of Flair and 08, Shawn Michaels came up in the Royal Rumble.
Dale, that is exactly what I've been saying about this. It's like it's mirroring Ric Flair's final 3 or 4 month run, where the angle was if he lost a match, he was gone. And he carried it right through to WrestleMania, and I was there in the 11th row, and it was absolutely beautiful. And if we see something like that with Sting, chef's kiss. Yeah.
I don't think they're going to fumble his retirement at all. I think I'm very confident they're going to do it the right way. I think they respect Sting too much to not let him go out the right way. I think he's going to have a lot of creative control going into this, just so that it can be done in a way that is suiting for him.
But if that's the case, isn't Sting losing to a 19-year-old prodigy the way to put somebody over on the way out?
If Edge is turning heel 100%, because if I look across the ring, I see Sting, he clears everyone over on the other side. Sorry, as good as Christian Cage is and everything, Sting clears them. Darby Allin, I think, clears Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne by a landslide. And then Copeland clears everyone on the other side of the ring. If they are so outmatched, it's not even funny.
Yep.
So there has to be some kind of just mind-blowing thing that happened for me to think they could beat Sting and Darby, especially when you add to the fact Sting's never lost in AEW. It has to be something crazy, big, and special. If it's Flair costing them, I swear I'm going to fly over to Los Angeles and I'm going to clip Ric Flair across his knees with a freaking sledgehammer so he never shows up on AEW television again. That would be so ridiculously stupid.
But wouldn't it be amazing? And it would work really, really well when you think about it, to have Flair go on and just manage Nick Wayne.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know. I don't want Ric Flair on TV. That's my thing. I just don't want to see him on TV.
Listen, they signed him. He's going to be on TV.
Yep.
He doesn't have to be. He can just show up at Sting's last match and we'll all be happy.
Sure.
If it gets us the Sting versus Ric Flair for Sting's final match, I'll be with it. How about that? I'll watch that.
No, Rick's already had like 3 retirement matches. We don't need any more. No.
Hey, I was there for his final
WrestleMania match.
I was there for the last Nitro, so I saw them wrestle that one. I saw Rick's retirement match last year against Andrade and all that, and that was a spectacle. Match sucked, but man, was I having a great time watching it. I would be through the moon if we got Sting versus Ric Flair, just because of the shit show that it would be. Tony, do it. Grow some balls, man. Final match time. It is time for the main event. We have MJF versus Jay White, and I just want to say, I think this is the best built main event for a pay-per-view that AEW has ever done, and it's why I'm the most excited for this show. I think this show has the potential to top All Out 2021, which to me is the best show they've done so far. I do think it has the potential based on the card. Execution is what we're going to have to wait to see. But this match right here is kind of what sells me on that whole thought, because they finally put a lot of effort into selling a main event title match and didn't just sprinkle little things here and there or throw something together last minute. They took their time. It's been great. Jay White is phenomenal. I hate to see it happen. I think he's going to take the loss here. I think that's just logically what makes sense. MJF is going to walk out. So with that, Albert, I'll let Albert go first here. Who do you have between MJF and Jay White? Bang, bang.
I think that I'm not even gonna go that far into it. I'm just gonna it's very surface, very easy. MJF wins. He gets back to Triple B. It's been what he should have had the entire time. I absolutely detested watching Kenny Omega versus MJF, and MJF won the match and didn't even get the championship presented to him after the match. I destroyed everything because that match was so good. Even on the small build, I was like, hey, you know what? All right, fine. I'll then seeing him come out and having the ROH tag title and not the world title, I went, I like this gimmick. I really love what Jay White's doing with it. But man, MJF defending a championship he's not even in possession of right now, just to me, is just ridiculous. Give the man the belt back. Give the man what he deserves. Give us what we deserve. MJF is champ. Let's go.
And Sai?
I believe when the match happens on Saturday, it's MJF's 364th day as champion, right? Ooh. Correct me if I'm wrong, there must be somebody out there that will say, no, you're a day off. I
can find out real quick while you're chit-chatting.
I'm pretty sure they said 361 on Dynamite, so 3 days.
Right.
To me, that is probably the least likely day of a year-long title reign that you are going to lose the title. There's no promoter in the world. Yeah. There's nobody in the world that's going to say, no, let's take him off it the day before they make a year as champion. Jay White's been great. The run's been great. The stealing of the belt has been great. It's been entertaining, but there's absolutely no way that MJF is leaving without that belt. It's his belt.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I was meaning when I picked the Gun Club. I feel like watching the Gun Club beat MJF really kind of makes you think, oh, MJF is completely in over his head. And then when he comes out on top, it's like, wow. And then we celebrate him because he is a fantastic face. I'm glad everyone's starting to notice that. He's better as a face than he is a heel. I'll say it again, and I'll say it over and over until I'm blue in the face. And with all the other things that are falling in line, it's like none of those make sense if Adam Cole is the devil, which is the most popular theory here. It doesn't make sense for him to lose the title if Adam Cole is the devil, because he wants the title. So for him to just watch it go to someone else, it's like this whole thing was pointless. So yeah, I don't think there's any way possible he leaves, which I hate because I love Jay White so much. But his time will come. That's our only clean sweep. I thought it would be on the 6 man, but Albert likes to think crazy sometimes. Who had the best? I think MJF has had the best run.
Yeah, I agree.
That's me.
I agree. MJF.
I think Omega's was good.
I don't think there's even a competition.
I think Mox's was better than Omega. That's me.
Yeah, I agree too.
I think what made Omega's feel better is that he was carrying a bunch of other titles around with him as well. But that I hated to see that because he didn't even drop the Impact title to the back at the Impact. He dropped his Christian so he could drop it to Impact. It's like, man, think of what that would have done for Josh Alexander to beat Kenny Omega for the Impact title. Come on, man.
That whole thing, I don't want to rehash that, but that whole relationship with Impact, there is just no benefit to Impact that entire time. Oh, they got Kenny Omega on their show. And he didn't even drop the title back to the guy that he beat for it. And he blamed the ring implosion on Impact.
Kenny didn't even appear on the show. He literally filmed vignettes in a bus with Don Callis that aired over 6 weeks, even though they're all taped on the same day. It didn't do anything for Impact at all. You bang on.
So we talked about in the beginning, Courtney, we have a few names. One of them right here, Kyle O'Reilly is one, Adam Cole, not Samoa Joe, Tony Khan. Cy brought up Will Ospreay being a possibility.
That's
and
a good
then,
one.
I think other than that, who was the other one? Oh, and Tony Khan. But that's my crazy wild theory.
Can we just add Liv Morgan to the list?
Absolutely.
That'd be pretty controversial.
She's on her way back. So
yeah, makes sense.
It's more likely than Britt. But now that we've done the card, it's time for the bonus one, just in case we need to go to extra innings here. And the question will be, who do we think the mystery signing is? Here's the kicker, though. We can't all pick the same person. So with that said, Cy, I'm going to let you go first because you are our guests. Who do you think the special signing is?
To contradict my prediction on who the devil is, I'm going to pick the same dude, and I think Will Ospreay is coming in, and it's going to be official anytime soon.
Okay.
Interesting, because that's kind of where I was going to go, but I will say this: if it's not Mercedes, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people in the audience, and if AEW needs anything else, as much as I love Will Ospreay, or I use the word love a little bit harshly, as much as I respect Will Ospreay's in-ring talent, AEW needs a boost to that women's division. If it's not Mercedes, man, that is a huge missed opportunity.
Based on what we were talking about earlier and adding Mercedes to that, I think they have all the tools necessary to get it to where it needs to go. So that would be great.
And I think Mercedes is finally that character where Tony Khan could feel comfortable with putting a second segment of women on the show and know that, okay, if we have one women's match, great, but Mercedes can carry a segment herself and people are still going to tune in.
Yeah, realistically, that's who I believe it is because I believe the way it was worded. What up? Thank you for joining. What I believe they need Mercedes now. I do believe it is Mercedes, but I can't pick the same person. So I'm going to go somewhere different. But the way it was worded was they. He was like, they are well respected. He didn't say he. And if he said she, I feel like it would have just given it away. So I feel like they was the proper way to announce it without giving anything away. And yeah, you stole mine, but I figured that was going to happen. I am going to go with a dark horse pick here that I think is a very possibility. No doubt. It's not Tyrus. It's not Tyrus. I would lose my shit if it was. Fortunately, it's not. I'm going to say Sami Callihan.
Whoa.
I don't think he's a big signing, but I don't think he's a bad signing for sure. So it can't be Tony.
With the S?
It can't be Ziggler because all the WWE released people, they'll be at day 58. So unless they were freed from their clause or whatever, or their contract was bought out, I don't see it happening. Ziggler would be cool. I wouldn't be mad at it. But I think Sami Callihan is a good signing for them. I think it helps boost the middle of your show, which desperately needs it at this point. And he's respected. Like the people in AEW like him, the fans like him. So it's not like he's wrong. He just wouldn't be the major big one, which I think if he is the name that they call out, might be a problem because we saw this with Christian. Christian wasn't a bad signing, but it was like, you promised us something bigger, and it wasn't. So Sami Callihan,
if there's any rumor, if there's any realization to that being it, right? Sami Callihan, this is the right time, right? He literally just went viral.
Yeah.
In that clip with Jason Segel. This is the right time. If they're going to do it anytime, this is it. This is the only time where I think he has enough buzz.
What up, Blue? Good to see you, man. Thank you for finally joining us live, buddy. He got that football. He got football fever, though. I forgive him.
Me too.
But there you go. That's the show. So what I'm going to be doing during the show, I will be doing the live results of our prediction showdown here on the Positively Awesome Wrestling Twitter page, not X page, so that we can keep up with it, and we'll see who ends up being the champion. Will it be a close race? Will it be Jimmy just putting the slap down on all of them? We're going to find out. But we will have a champion crowned on Saturday night for the Positively Awesome AEW Predictions Championship. Good luck to you, boys.
Good luck to you.
You're going to need it.
Yeah, good luck.
With that said,
It's
time to say our goodbyes. I will swing it over to our guest one more time. If there's anything you'd like to plug or anything you'd like to say before we say our goodbyes, now is your chance to do so.
My colleague, my comrade in arms, Nick from Wrestling With Your Thoughts, also a part of Wrestle Legion, is doing a special show on Saturday. I believe you're going to be a part of, Jim. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to be tuning into that. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that show's all about this bad boy right here because I won it. I've retained it, and I'm going to retain it again. The old shipless captain wants something that he just cannot have. It's not within his reach, and it never will be. I'm going to put the slap down on these guys with the predictions. I'm going to put the absolute world class, never been seen before beat down on old captain when we do the booking of Survivor Series, the Starrcade 97 and Final Nitro. It's not going to, you are not going to want to miss this. It will be bloodshed. There will be tears flowing. Just enjoy wrestling, but enjoy me whooping that booty on Saturday because that's what's going to happen. And then Sunday on Positively Awesome Wrestling, myself and Albert will be back here. Tidy shall be joining us once again. Our guest had to back out, but I'm going to try and find someone real quick to join us for a 4-way of the WWE Survivor Series prediction show, in which we'll have a champion for that one as well. Double champ. That's what I'm going to be. Oh, I'll be 3 champ. Champ. That's what I'm going to be. But with that said, Albert, now is your turn to say your goodbyes. Let them know what it is.
Wrestle Buddy. There are two things. So you can go and read my article about Tony Khan on there. You can also go and see the latest 2 podcasts that Wrestle Buddy's put out with Zero and with Bobby's Breakdown and Alex. I was a guest for the past 2 weeks. Probably going to try to be on there again this week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But of course, as Jimmy always says, go watch the Slam Sessions. New videos are up every week. I believe that this was the 20th episode of the Toy Room tour. So go check it out.
Our very own Matt Cardona, everybody.
I'm not that good, but you know.
But with that, I hope everybody enjoys the show this weekend. I hope they enjoy the 5 hours of wrestling we're getting on Friday. There's a lot of wrestling right now. There's no reason to be hating. We can all just enjoy wrestling. Enjoy. That's not me saying enjoy all of it. Just enjoy what you enjoy. Don't hate. Just be happy. That's what my grandma always told me. Just be happy. There's no reason not to be. But with that, goodbye, everybody. I will see you all on Saturday and then Sunday. I'm going to be ruthless on Saturday. You don't want to miss. You
can't wait.
Me. Snap them in half.